Today, you'll hear the journey of Mia, a young mother who faced heartbreak, rejection, and fear, but found strength, love, and peace in the most unexpected way. This story will stay with you long after it ends. My name is Mia. I was 22 years old when I met Daniel. He was 25. He was quiet and kind. We met at a small bookshop in town. I was looking at a book about dreams. He smiled and said, "That's a good one." I laughed. That's how we met. Daniel and I became close very fast. We met every day, in the park or by the sea. We talked about many things, our future, our dreams, and places we wanted to go. He wanted to open a bakery. I wanted to be a teacher. We were young and full of hope. I was happy when I was with him. He listened to me. He never laughed at my small dreams. We didn't have much money, but we had love. That was enough for me. Then one day, everything changed. It was a cold evening. We planned to meet at the park. I waited for over an hour. When he finally came, he looked upset. I asked if something was wrong. He said I didn't understand him. He said I didn't care about his problems. I was surprised. I didn't know why he was angry. We argued for the first time. We both said hurtful things. The next day, Daniel didn't call. I thought he would message or come see me, but he didn't. A week passed, then another. I tried calling him, but he didn't answer. I waited and hoped he would come back, but he never did. Then something happened that changed everything. I started feeling tired. My body felt strange. I went to the doctor. She said, "Mia, you are pregnant." I couldn't believe it. I was going to have a baby. I was scared. I didn't have a job. I didn't know what to do. My hands shook when I saw the test result. I sat on my bed and cried for hours. After a few days, I wrote a message to Daniel. I told him everything. I said, "Please, I need to talk to you. I'm going to have a baby." I waited for his reply, but he didn't answer. I sent another message. Then he blocked my number. He left me. Just like that, time passed. My belly grew. I moved back to my parents' house. They were sad and shocked, but they helped me. My mum stayed up late with me when I couldn't sleep. My dad worked more hours to buy baby supplies. I felt bad, but I had no one else. Then my baby girl was born. Her name is Emily. She had soft brown eyes and tiny fingers. When I held her, I cried. She was so small and beautiful. But after a few weeks, the doctor gave bad news. Emily had a heart problem. She needed special medicine and checkups. The medicine was very expensive. I looked for a job, but no one wanted to hire a young mom with a sick baby. I sold my clothes and books. I skipped meals so I could buy her medicine. I cried every night. My parents helped, but it wasn't enough. I didn't want to, but I wrote to Daniel again. I said, "Emily is your daughter. She is very sick. Please help us. I'm not angry. I just need help." Days passed. Then he replied. He said, "I'll send $100 a month. That's all I can do." I was shocked. Daniel had a good job. He worked in real estate. I knew he had money. $100 was not enough for Emily's care, but I accepted it. I had no choice. Every month I waited for that money like it was gold. Sometimes it came late. Sometimes it didn't come at all. Still, I loved my daughter. She smiled even when she was in pain. She laughed at birds, loved music, and hugged me every morning. She gave me strength. Years passed. One afternoon, my friend showed me something on her phone. It was a photo of Daniel on a business website. He was now a millionaire. He had a big house, a wife, 2 kids, and a fancy car. He posted pictures of vacations and gifts for his wife. One photo showed a ring that cost more than my rent for a year. Another showed a car worth a lot of money. I looked at the photos and felt silent. Why was his daughter suffering while he lived so well? Why did he ignore her pain? That night, I sent him one last message. I wrote, "Emily is still sick. You post pictures of your wealth, but you won't help your daughter. Why? Why does she suffer while you live in comfort?" He didn't reply. Instead, he blocked me. I sat in my room, looking at the wall. My heart felt heavy. I held Emily and cried. But I knew I couldn't stay quiet anymore. I shared my story online. I told people about Daniel, about our past, and how he only gave $100 a month for a sick child. I posted photos of Emily in the hospital. The story spread fast. People were shocked. Many asked, how can a father ignore his sick daughter? Daniel's name was in the news. People who used to admire him started asking hard questions. Why does he buy cars but not pay for his daughter's medicine? I hoped that maybe now he would finally help. But some people also said bad things about me. They asked, why now? Is it because he's rich? Are you trying to ruin his life? These words hurt me a lot. I cried again. I never wanted to hurt anyone. I only wanted help for Emily. That's all I asked for. But nothing changed. Daniel didn't come. He didn't call. He didn't even say sorry. The money stopped coming too. I felt more pain and more silence. So I stopped fighting. I held Emily close and said, "It's just us now. We will be okay. We will make it on our own." Before I continue, I want to ask you something. Where are you listening from? It makes me feel happy to know someone is hearing my story, someone who understands me. Please write it in the comments. I really want to know. 2 years passed. Emily turned 5. She still needed medicine and checkups, but she was stronger than before. She loved to draw. She drew animals and flowers. Every time she smiled, I felt light in my heart. I stopped thinking about Daniel. I didn't look at his pictures anymore or check the news. I didn't have room in my heart for pain. My only goal was to care for Emily and give her a good life. Then something nice happened. One day I met someone new. His name was Mark. He worked at a small shop near my home. I went there often to buy fruit and bread. One evening he said, "You always look tired. Are you okay?" I smiled and said, "I have a daughter. She keeps me busy." We started talking. Mark was kind and patient. He asked about Emily and listened to everything I said. When I told him about her health, he said, "She must be strong, just like her mom." We became friends. Then we became something more. Mark didn't leave when things got hard. He came to the hospital with me. He brought Emily her favorite toys. He made her laugh. She called him Uncle Mark at first, then just Mark. One day she looked at him and asked, "Can you be my dad?" Mark's eyes filled with tears. "Yes," he said. "I would love to." After 1 year, Mark asked me to marry him. I said yes. Our wedding was small, just some friends and family, but it was full of love. Emily wore a white dress and held flowers. She smiled all day. We moved into a small house. It wasn't big or new, but it was ours. We painted the walls together. Mark made a little garden for Emily. Every morning she watered the plants and talked to the flowers. Our life wasn't perfect. We still had money problems. Emily still needed medicine, but we were happy. We had peace. That was something I hadn't felt for a long time. Then, one morning, everything changed again. I woke up and saw a message on my phone. It was from a number I didn't know. The message said, "Mia, this is Daniel. I know I hurt you. I want to see my daughter." I stared at the screen. I didn't know what to say. My heart beat fast. Why now, after all these years? I showed the message to Mark. He looked at me and said, "It's your choice. Whatever you decide, I'll be here for you." After thinking for days, I wrote back. I said, "Emily is not a baby anymore. She remembers everything. You can meet her, but please don't hurt her again." Daniel asked to meet at the park. I said yes. Emily didn't know he was her real father. I just told her we were going to meet someone special. At the park, Daniel was already there. He looked different. He wore simple clothes. He had no camera crew, no fancy car, just him and a small bag of toys. Emily walked slowly toward him. She was shy. Daniel knelt down and opened his arms. "Hi," he said. "I brought you some gifts." Then he looked at me. "I'm sorry, Mia. I was a coward. I ran away. I thought money could fix everything, but it didn't. I missed her whole life, and I regret it every day." I didn't speak. Then he gave me a set of keys. "This is for a house. It's near a hospital." He gave me a folder. "This is for Emily's treatment. Everything is paid now, forever. I want to help." I was shocked. "I didn't know what to say," he continued. "I also want to change her last name to mine, only if you agree. She's my daughter. I want to be part of her life." I looked at Mark. He gave me a small smile. "It's your choice," he whispered. I looked at Emily. She was smiling, holding the rabbit. Then I looked back at Daniel. "Let's take this slow," I said. "But yes, you can be in her life. She needs to know who her father is." Daniel smiled. He cried again. From that day, Daniel came often. He took Emily to the zoo, the beach, and the movies. He brought flowers for me and always thanked Mark. Daniel never missed another doctor visit. He paid for every bill, every test, every treatment. But he didn't only give money, he gave his time. He stayed with Emily when she was sick. He helped her with school. He taught her to ride a bike. She laughed more. Her health got better. She called Mark Dad and called Daniel Papa. And they both loved her deeply. One day, someone special came to visit. It was Daniel's wife. I was surprised when I saw her. She said, "I wanted to meet you. Thank you for letting Daniel be part of Emily's life. He talks about her all the time. She changed him." She brought Emily a doll and sat with us for tea. She was calm and kind. We talked like old friends. At the end, she said, "Life is strange, but I believe everything happens for a reason." I smiled and said, "Yes, it helps us grow and learn." After that day, we all worked together for Emily. There was no more hate or anger, only love and care. Life still had problems, but now we faced them as a team. I often looked at Emily and thought, she is the reason all this happened. She brought light into our lives. For the first time in many years, I felt peace. Years went by. Emily turned 9. She was stronger, healthier, and happier. Her doctors said she was doing better than before. She still needed care, but her heart was stronger. She loved school. She had friends. She played with dolls and drew pretty pictures. Sometimes she drew all of us, me, Mark, Daniel, and herself, smiling and holding hands. One morning she ran to me and said, "Mama, I want to make a card for Papa and Dad to thank them for loving me." Her words made me cry. She was growing up, but her heart was still so sweet. Mark helped her build a treehouse in the garden. Daniel helped with her music lessons. She called Mark Dad because he was there every day. She called Daniel Papa because now she knew he was her real father. She loved them both. They were different, but both were important in her life. Daniel had changed a lot. He didn't show off his money anymore. He stopped sharing photos of expensive things. He spent time with Emily. He came to her school events, cheered at her games, and brought her favorite chocolate on weekends. One day, Daniel said, "I missed so many years of her life. I can't get that time back, but I'll do everything I can now." I believed him. He kept his word. He never forgot her birthday. He took her to the doctor without being asked. He paid for school supplies, clothes, and anything Emily needed. He even helped Mark and me fix things in our house. He never made us feel small or unwanted. He didn't try to replace Mark. He just wanted to be part of Emily's world, and we welcomed him. Mark and Daniel became good friends. They often sat together and talked about Emily. They laughed at her jokes and shared stories about her. At first, it felt strange, but later it felt normal. One Saturday, Emily asked, "Mama, am I lucky?" I said, "Why do you think that?" She smiled and said, "Because I have two dads. Some kids don't have any." I hugged her. "Yes, you are lucky. And they are lucky to have you too." Daniel's wife, Claire, became part of our lives as well. She brought books and toys for Emily. She always treated her with love and respect. One day, Claire visited alone and said, "Mia, thank you. You could have told Daniel to stay away, but you didn't." Emily helped him become better. I smiled and said, "We all make mistakes. What matters is what we do after." Then Claire and I sat in the garden and watched Emily play. We talked like old friends. There was no anger, no jealousy, only peace. That night, I sat by the window and thought about everything. There was a time I cried every night. There was a time I felt broken and lost. I didn't think I could go on, but I did. And not only did I keep going, I became stronger. Emily taught me to be brave. She was my light. She helped me survive. She showed me that love can return after pain. Even people who hurt us can come back and help us heal. I thought about the past, but I didn't feel angry. I didn't want revenge. I didn't want to make Daniel feel bad. I just wanted Emily to feel loved. That's what mattered most. Now Emily has love from everyone. Life still isn't perfect. We still have hard days. She still has doctor visits. We still have bills. But we face everything together, and that makes all the difference. One night, Emily sat with me in bed. She looked at the stars and asked, "Mama, do you ever feel sad?" I thought for a moment and said, "I used to, but not anymore. Now I feel thankful." She smiled and put her head on my shoulder. I kissed her forehead and whispered, "You are my joy. You're the reason I smile." She looked up and said, "I love you, Mama." In that moment, I knew everything would be okay. Looking back, I understand now that everything happens for a reason. Pain makes us stronger. Mistakes lead to better choices. Even a broken heart can heal. I don't know what the future will bring, but I do know that whatever happens, we'll face it with love, care, and hope. My name is Mia. I once cried every night. I once waited for someone who never came. But now I smile every day because I stopped waiting and started living. And because I never gave up. If this story touched your heart, please don't forget to like, comment, and share. We'd love to hear where you're watching from and what part of this story moved you the most. Most More inspiring and heartfelt stories are coming soon, so make sure to subscribe and stay connected.